Peace world.
We came to meet up with an old friend of mine. He's a music producer, so we wanted to kind of like, I guess, also the blues and musician. We're all kind of artists here in the creative types. We wanted to come to like his domain where he gets like his creative juices flowing. And his,
How does that go, Matt?
his creative juices flowing.
Yeah.
You were born in America, though.
I
So
was
you
born
are an American.
Yeah, I was born in Los Angeles. Actually, Long Beach, California.
All right.
Yeah,
Long Beach.
Snoop Dogg's in the house.
You are an American, and this has always been your home.
Yeah.
And
I never left the country until 2007.
Where are your parents from?
My dad was born in Jerusalem, Palestine, and my mom in Jericho. My dad came here in 1967.
All right.
Left the war, and my mother came here in 61. She came to San Francisco first.
Have you been back to where they're from?
I have not. Hopefully one day I'll get to go. Check it out.
So your parents came here to chase the American dream as
Yeah,
well?
oh, 100%.
I'm curious to like hear what it was like growing up as a child being Muslim in America.
Everybody that we grew up around, you know, that area, Garden Grove, you have a lot of Hispanics, you have a lot of African Americans, you have Asians, you have everybody. So it was like, we came here and I was like, oh.
What was that like coming here and then seeing that it was just a bunch of white faces, especially coming from?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit different, but honestly, I was so young. I think I was 11 or 12. So I didn't really, I never thought about that kind of stuff. You know, like we were kids. I played basketball. I listened to music.
Yeah.
You know, that we, like, I never knew the difference.
I mean, even for me, I was the same way with you. Like being young, I was completely colorblind. I never saw.
We didn't know any different. I didn't know anything about like that section of life until I got older. Early in high school, you start hearing like people start making jokes. There would be like hijacking or whatever it was, and they would, you know, they'd make the joke sparingly. It wasn't like it is now.
Right.
And then 9/11 happened, and everything changed. My father had a jewelry store in Old Town Scottsdale. And I mean, like, people posted signs on the window, like, go home Arabs, broke the windows, you know, like, and I remember very specifically that morning waking up, and when we saw it on the news, we were watching the TV like, holy shit, and my parents come running to me like, you guys aren't going to school today. Because, like, they were fearful for us. The next day I go, and I was in school with a cousin, his name is Muhammad. And I mean, we had 3 guys come up to us and just start yelling and screaming, like just the most nonsensical thing you can imagine. But you know, like we were like, "What's happening? Are we about to get our asses kicked? Or what? You know, what's going on?" And they just start screaming and yelling, and we're like, "No, like, you think that we wanted that to happen?" Because that's actually the perception that people thought, like, "Oh, well, you're Muslim, then you probably wanted this to happen. Like, you're probably happy." And they're looking at us like we're animals, like we're happy to see people die. And I'm like, y'all must be crazy. Like, this is scary for us just like it is for you. Like, I'm sure there were Muslim people in that building. Like, they don't call the Muslim people and say, hey, by the way, we're gonna blow this shit up, get out. But people thought that, you know, and that to me is like, you know, obviously emotions are high, ignorance is high, and a lack of education is very high, and you get all of that. And when that like comes together, then the shit gets scary. From that point forward, it became like a magnifying glass. At that point, I remember my mom, you better shave, like, cause she was afraid for me. Like to this day, like I literally, my grandmother, my mother, my father, they're like, you need to shave that.
Really?
Especially right now with what's happening in the country, the divisiveness you were talking about. You need to shave because people are gonna look at you like you're crazy. I'm like, I like my beard. Like, I don't wear it as a sense of like.
Fuck those people, man.
That's what I think. I'm like, I'm not gonna shave my beard because I'm afraid of somebody that's gonna say something or do something to me. I'm in real estate. That's my day job. Mm-hmm. And you know, my mom's like, oh, people aren't gonna want to do business with you because of your beard.
Have you found that to ever be true?
Yeah. I mean, I've had some really weird experiences in real estate. I recently had a client from a small place in Idaho come over, and you know, first time I met him, he didn't say much to me. We were interacting. I was showing him some homes, and like the 3rd day in, tells me point blank, I'm not supposed to like someone like you. And he's like, you know, when you answered the phone with your name, he's like, I was apprehensive about doing business with you. He's like, because, you know, where I come from, I'm not supposed to like somebody who believes like you or looks like you. He's like, but I rolled the dice and I'm glad I did because I like you.
Yeah.
And he's a person that, you know, had you met him prior, you would never expect him to do business with a Muslim person. But he tells everybody about me.
So there were only a couple times that you thought to yourself, oh, I wish I was white right now.
Yeah.
But on the way in, you just told us a story about the airport.
Yeah, oh,
I
yeah. Well,
I mean, that's a pretty big one.
the first time I ever left the country, I flew to Dubai.
Okay.
And I have family there, and I wanted to see Dubai because you hear like all these crazy, amazing things about it. I flew there via JFK. On the way there, it was totally fine. Everything was amazing. Fly back through JFK, same way. You know, everybody's walking off the plane. You're half asleep. I got headphones in. Two guys walk next to me. Mr. Eric, come with us. I didn't question it. I was like, oh shit, right? So they take me in a room, take my passport. They start asking me a bunch of questions. Where you been? Why'd you go there? They knew where I stayed. They knew what hotel I stayed at in Dubai, which
So they
scared
had,
the
like-
shit out of me. And they're like, why'd you leave the country? I'm like, I went on vacation. Like, why do people go to Dubai? It's like the largest tourist place on earth. You know, they just keep asking me questions. I was like, I gotta use the restroom. They gave me a police escort to the restroom. As if I was like a criminal, right?
Like you're gonna...
They took my phone from me, by the way. And it ended up being 6.5 hours. My family's thinking the worst because I can't answer the phone. And I ended up being in the airport like 9 hours. The airport, I've had some funny experiences, honestly.
So that's not your only one.
No, I always get like the random selection.
Do you feel like what's going on right now in politics and the stuff that Donald Trump's been saying, do you feel like, especially being here in Scottsdale and in this kind of a conservative area, have you encountered anything recently?
No. And I pray I don't. You know, I don't want to deal with any of that. You always kind of like it's unfortunate because you watch the news and you hear someone like him. The guy's running to be the leader of the free world. He's just really self-serving in his hate. Like he'll hate whoever it is that will benefit his bottom line. The unfortunate truth is there are people in this country that feel that way. I do not think that will ever change. Like, I think the only thing that can change is the level of tolerance that we have. You know, racism is tough. Bigotry is tough. And unfortunately, kids don't realize that, hey, I don't have to be racist just because my parents are.
Right. We can break that cycle with enough knowledge and enough awareness, and I do feel like that's a lot of why we do what we do, and that's a lot of why we wanted to talk to you today, is because I think a lot of it's exposure, and I know that, like, personally for me, I've been working on this veterans project. There was one Marine in particular who I remember meeting with, and the first time we went out, I said to my producing partners, like, we're just not going to talk about the gay thing. Like, I'm not going to hide it, because I'm not going to hide who I am. But I'm just not going to bring it up.
Yeah.
Like, if it comes up, whatever.
Yeah.
So it took a little while, but eventually it came out, because we ended up working a lot with him. And to him, once he realized that, it was like a very, whoa moment of, like, this guy that I've been hanging out with that I had no idea was gay and actually has a husband. I mean, it was before we had a kid, but I think just him being exposed to it was very eye-opening for him. And then even months down the line, there were people that were close to him that had said to me, you know, that being around this guy, being around him has totally changed his perception of what it means to be gay, or what gay people are,
how he feels towards gay people,
towards gay people.
Yeah.
I hope at least that we can break that cycle,
Yeah.
and that maybe, I don't know, maybe there will be less hate.
I don't care if you're black, white, gay, straight, Muslim, Christian. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're a good person, you're a good person, right? But I don't think people get that exposure. And I think the internet, what you guys are doing is incredible. Like, but there still, to me, has to be a willingness to watch. It takes a personal experience. Like, you spent time with this guy. How long have you spent with him?
I mean, we had spent months together.
So it took that for him to open up that, to be like, oh, well, not all gay people are whatever he thought prior.
Yeah.
Now, because he knows you as a person,
Yeah.
the gay or straight thing, it stopped making a difference in him because he liked you as a person.
Right.
But not everybody's gonna have that opportunity to sit with you for 3 weeks.
But I think that's kind of like our responsibility as artists and entertainers or people who work in the media, is to try and make those changes. And I feel like that's why, like, the more well-written gay characters we see in maybe film or television, the more, like, well-represented Muslims that we see in like film and television.
Yeah.
I feel like eventually they're not going to be able to hide from it. as it's like more exposed, they'll be forced to confront it eventually.
Yeah, I think you have to have that optimism to see real progress. Like watching TV, I could remember when gay jokes were like, oh my god, they made a gay joke. Like early episodes of Friends, like it was weird, right?
Yeah.
Now you have like Modern Family, which is the funniest show on TV. I think that's progress.
Absolutely.
I've yet to see like a Muslim who's not a terrorist, but I'm waiting. I'm praying.
I mean, it's gonna happen.
Saying that,
I'm praying. I'm
I can't even
hopeful.
think of an example.
Tastemakers or influencers, whatever you want to call them, definitely have that responsibility. I want to see like the biggest acts on earth like stand up to something and have a voice, because if you remember like Jimi Hendrix, like artists, they spoke of the times always, and I think that artists, they do have that responsibility. You get a lot of people, in the sports world. Michael Jordan's a big example. He never ever spoke anything about race, about politics until very recently.
Really?
He just put out a statement like a week ago and donated like $2 million, about police brutality towards Black America and whatnot. You get some people that are like, oh well, it's that's his prerogative. He doesn't have a responsibility. But I think when you get to that level, you got people damn near praying to you when you're Michael Jordan at his height. Like you should say something, in my opinion.
It's funny what you said that about Michael Jordan, because I used to do the same thing when I mean, maybe it's different because Michael Jordan was at a hugely, it's just vast, like different level of like fame and than I ever was. But I remember when I was on Kyle XY, I was so afraid to talk about any of it because I was
You
so
don't want to
afraid
offend the wrong person.
Offending the wrong person or having everything taken away. I get why, especially because he was so powerful and so widely loved that like for him to just say the wrong thing, to dismiss or to suddenly lose or negate half of your audience.
Yeah, or your legacy. It's Beyonce dealt with it recently. She put out that video for Formation. They had people took it as anti-police. To me, she's talking about a clear problem in America. She's not anti-police. She's just pointing out, hey, there's a problem with police and young black males, right?
Yeah.
And then when she did the Super Bowl, the biggest stage on earth, they did the Black Panther uniform or whatever, and you had every talk show host in America saying she should be in jail, like
she's pushing the black agenda, all this bullshit.
And I'm like, yo, you know what? She's bringing to light something that's a very real problem. She's not making shit up out of thin air. For her to use her voice, I mean, I loved it, but you also saw the backlash. So you're like, to your point, she probably won't ever do that again. I mean, because she probably lost endorsement deals or sponsors of her $300 million tour or whatever it may be, because she wanted to use her power, but look what it got her. It didn't get her anything.
I mean, do you really think that though? Because absolutely, she probably lost stuff. But somebody like Beyonce, and I feel like there's few artists that are willing to take that risk.
Yeah.
And taking that risk in itself makes you bigger than anybody else will ever be. Going back to Madonna in the 90s.
Look at your shirt.
Going back to Madonna in the 90s, the gays, there were Elizabeth Taylor, there were gay advocates, but nobody on the level that Madonna was in pop culture that was willing to put all of her dancers as gay, out on the street, gay rights, all that shit.
Her book, do you guys remember her book? Like, she did that book that...
Oh, I mean, come on. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But at a certain point when you realize, like, hey, people are actually listening, I feel like you do have a responsibility. And I think it's really cool what Beyonce did. I think...
Beyonce's not somebody that's going to back down.
The cool thing about that is, her and Jay-Z, they've gotten to the point where, like, they don't need anybody, right? So they can do whatever they want.
Aren't they the Illuminati anyways? Like, come on now.
I don't believe no
Illuminati.
Yeah.
Rashid's artist is Yasmin. They've been working together for years,
yeah,
right?
Very long time, almost 6 or 7 years now. She's like my pride and joy. She's the main artist that I enjoy working with the most. She's an incredible pop vocalist, and I hope to one day make her the next big thing.
If the city never sleeps, do the clocks ever move? As guitars gently weave and the bass gets abused, is it selfish if I need it. Heart and lies in the creases. Is it selfish if I need it? Heart and lies in the creases. If this is your pain, I wanna feel it. If this is your pain, I wanna feel it. 'Cause I just gotta see my name in lights. 20 other lights up in the sky. 20 other lights will change my life. I just gotta see my name in lights. My name in lights. 20 other lights up in the sky. 20 other lights will change my life. I just gotta see my name in lights. Is it selfish if I dream of breaking all the rules? Oh, is it selfish when I dream that my voice is your muse? If this is your pain, I wanna feel it. If I
Matt is watching somebody's YouTube video of their, what is it, favorite celebrity crushes? That's a good idea. That's a good topic. We should do it.
We've talked about our celebrity crushes before.
No, we didn't rank them. Oh. Maybe he needs to do.
Colton.
Is good. Number 2, another couple on the list. In fact, they're now a trio. This would be Matt, Blue, and Crow.
What? Are you serious?
Or number 2. What did he say about us? What are the graphics?
Wait, who is this dude?
Is good. Number 2, another couple on the list. In fact, they're now a trio. This would be Matt, Blue, and Crow.
Even cute and ugly panties. Hey, I like those
So
underwear.
these guys do their own YouTube channel, and recently they've adopted an adorable son named Crow. Watching that video was probably the most emotional time I had this year so far.
Cool.
They're both adorable themselves. They love each other so much, and then they've got this adorable little child now, and they're just this perfect family. It's kind of like growing up, you know, you have this idea that being gay means not having a family and not having children, but these guys are kind of like living proof that, you know, you still can. And like, check them out on YouTube. Watch the video of them announcing their child. It is the most adorable thing you will ever see, and I promise you, you'll be an emotional wreck afterwards. And these guys are adorable. It's everything. It's adorable.